Welcome to the Paddock F1 with Greeny and the cheese. We're caffeinated, we're medicated. It's a podcast by fans for fans. Your dose of F1 news. All the races, all the tracks, and all the drama. Coming up on today's show.
Yes. You know that's not me. Time to Paddock F1. Greeny and the cheese. Oh, F1 is back after 5 weeks. Thank goddamn Christ, we're back to racing. Round 4 takes us to our first stop in the States for the 2026 F1 season as we hit South Beach, Miami, baby. It's the Miami Grand Prix, and while you're there in South Beach, hit up Ocean Drive, the Art Deco buildings, restaurants, bars, and those clubs, Michael. Get out there and shake what your mama gave you, all right? And while you're down there, you also want to stop in Little Havana, get some of that Cubano food. And of course, you're going to hit the river walk as well, but this ain't no travel show. This is an F1 show. And we're 16 miles away from the beach, in a football stadium parking lot, and the roads surrounding at the Miami International Autodrome. Now I'm going to stop it right there. Can we stop calling this an autodromo? I mean, it's in a parking lot and the streets surrounding the parking lot. That is not an autodromo. An autodromo is there all year round. Can we call it this, like, Miami street circuit or something like that, please? But we got 19 corners.
It's not a street
You give it
either.
the full beans. You give it the full beans for about, I don't know, 54-ish% of the guys were able to push better with the changes that they made to the regulations, but it was a wild start, boys and girls. Let's start with that. I mean, cars locking up into turn one, Max spinning it, coming out of 3, doing a 360. Nobody got hit, though. It was crazy with a safety car. Gasly was flipped over. I mean, strategy then ended up winning in the day with some slow stops mixed in there. And then Kimi Antonelli walks away with his win. Check it now. That's 3 poles in a row, 3 wins in a row, his first 3 poles in a row in his career, and then turning those into victories. He's the first guy to ever do that in F1 history. Mark that in the books. How about that shit? Lando takes second, Piastri takes third, and a much improved McLaren. We are caffeinated, we are medicated. Greeny, good day, sir.
It's like a whole new season. McLaren showing up.
Yeah.
Finally, we have the last 3 winners going 1, 2, 3 with Kimi and the McLarens, and Leclerc. I mean, you talk about a wild start. It was just equally wild finish
too.
To the race too. A hell of a sandwich with a wild start, a wild finish, a little bit of rain mixed in the middle. You had some guy on a hill with binoculars looking at clouds, reporting back. You had the party was flowing in the paddock. That's for sure. I think you had Scarface out. Tony Montana must have been hanging in the paddock today. We'll get to that in a little bit. But Formula One is back. Ferrari was going to make it a tricolored podium until the very end there.
Yeah, I drank way too much of that Kool-Aid.
Max Verstappen starts in front row and definitely does not finish on podium. He was a 12-1 underdog just to finish podium going into the race. Looked like a really good bet yesterday, or at least this morning, and turned out to be a little bit of a disaster. We'll get to gambling as well later. Of course, if you have not subscribed to the show, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button on YouTube if you're watching. Every single subscriber is appreciated. Every single thumbs up and like we can use. Of course, all the help we can get. And the more help we get, the more we get to bring to you. April has been was our best month ever as far as downloads go for the pod. both on Apple and Spotify. So thank you all so much for that, for listeners from all around the world. It means beyond so much. So thank you all for that. But yeah, Cheese, thoughts on the race? Is this going to be not the Silver Arrow runaway that we thought? Listen, someone like Kimi Antonelli might look great now, but we've seen this before with younger drivers, teenagers, and guys who were young 20s, how the pressure gets to them in the fall, which makes it really interesting for the fall. And a guy like, hypothetically, like Kimi Antonelli could be really facing that pressure in the fall, and things could change around. Obviously, he's sitting at the top of the world right now, but George Russell, not finishing 1-2, not a double Mercedes podium for the first time all year, and we got McLaren's in there. Ferrari looked like they were going to finish on podium. Verstappen on the front row. I mean, they could have done something if Hadjar didn't crash out early, but it looked like a whole new season. We started all over again here. What are your thoughts on that? What do you see as far as the changes that they made? It seems that we saw a change, but what is your thoughts on just those changes that were made? And are we entering a new season, or did Mercedes just have an off week?
I mean, I think it is definitely McLaren and Ferrari definitely caught up. I mean, Ferrari did crap the bed in the pits, and the car just burns up the tires, it seems more. But McLaren definitely had a home run with the upgrades they brought. Definitely closed the gap there for sure. Look, Mercedes brings upgrade next race out in Montreal, so we'll see what happens with that on the stopwatch, because sometimes upgrades don't actually pay out. So we'll see how that goes. But I mean, Kimi Antonelli's just on it right now. I mean, the strategy definitely helped them out. Sure. In clean air. So we'll see what upgrades changes. But definitely McLaren, definitely with their basically a brand new car with all the upgrades that they ended up bringing. Ferrari upgrades I drank too much of that Kool-Aid, believing what was coming out of Maranello again. As as everybody in the Tifosi ends up doing, we believe it, and then they just don't do it. I mean, the upgrades definitely helped. The Macarena wing is definitely interesting. I mean, Red Bull also brought their own version of it too. Getting to Red Bull, the car is definitely improved. I mean, Max seemed very much happier person with the way the car handled, for sure. Isaac Hadjar probably not so much, it looks like, but definitely the change they made are making Max a happier camper, so putting it back up front. But it's definitely renewed a bit. Can it still be a Merc runaway? Sure. I mean, this is kind of one of the tracks that George Russell also struggles at. That's kind of a thing that even the team knows about. So it's a couple of those outlier tracks that he struggles at every single year. So Miami's one of them. So take what you will out of that, but he still ended up finishing P4. So renewed fight, sure. We'll see what happens, next race out with Mercedes and upgrades and how the car comes with that. I mean, it's going to be an upgrade war as you go through the season too, to see who can come up with bits and things there. Other teams are working on, different engines to bring more power to compare to the Mercedes engine. So we'll see. The regulation changes seem to work better. Seems the guys will be able to push more. There seems to be a lot more lifting and coasting and a lot more, pushing. But some of the same things were still there with the guys, passing back and forth because they can, one lap you have the boost and the next lap you don't have the boost or the extra boost. So, I mean, that's still a little to be desired, but overall it seemed better.
And listen, these are the things I learned from Miami. All right, because I've been saying it since preseason. We're going to know everything we need to know after Miami, right? I didn't know we'd be losing 2 races in the Middle East, but I still think we learned a lot. Number one, Merck is not running away with this. Number one. Number two, McLaren ain't dead yet. All right, don't be burying him just yet. Oscar Piastri had a miserable start to the season. Oscar specifically at his home race in Australia, just, as we say, shit in the bed completely in his home track again. But between the sprint race and this, I'm putting some points back on the board. Ferrari is not as good as you thought they would be, and Lewis Hamilton is not maybe what you thought he might come out with.
He had a damaged car. He had a damaged car that lost like 15 to 20 points of downforce. So, I mean, we weren't going to be expecting a lot of things to come out of that.
Still finish 7th.
So,
and the mid pack is completely up for grabs.
Yeah.
Completely up for grabs. And I'm going to put Red Bull in the mid pack as well. Because we had, a 5th place finish for a 5th and a DNF. So that's not great. Racing Bulls, you had a 14th and a DNF. So that's not great. So you really had the Bulls were looking mighty not too long ago, and I mean Max is able to pull out. But Max is a beast in Miami, and he's a beast in the U.S. overall. He always comes through. He loves the U.S.
Max is a beast everywhere. It's Max freaking Verstappen.
So he really showed. He showed this weekend,
and he still can make it something. So
starting off the front row,
they have a good power plant. And the car is still overweight too. Remember that they bought a ton of upgrades. I mean, their Macarena wing version, that gap. I don't know how that gap is not illegal, because that thing opens up and it is like Jaws mouth or something. It is like ridiculously huge. Like
the shark, the shark, it's coming down the track.
I was like, holy crap! That thing opens up ridiculous.
Yeah.
I don't know how that is. I don't know how that is within, the regulation limit. Because I don't know why anybody else isn't doing that then too. Because that thing is like Jaws opening its mouth. I think it's freaking huge. So, but it's going to see and the car's still overweight. Take that too. The car is still like 8 kilograms overweight, which is a lot of weight. That's probably at least a half a second, if not more. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. But Merck's not running away with it. But did they still want another Grand Prix? They made the better strategy call.
It's a 3-horse.
They made the better strategy call with the doing the undercut, which paid off. McLaren's definitely going to kick themselves in the ass. I mean, Lando said we should have pit first and went about it. I mean, that was also an awesome outlap by Kimi Antonelli too. Let's not throw that out either. That was one hell of an outlap. But Merck makes the good strategy call, and they got a quick goddamn car when it's out in the clean air. And they didn't bring upgrades. Everybody else, basically, McLaren and Ferrari almost had brand new cars. I mean, they were close, and they were there in quality, but race pace was not there for Ferrari today. That's for goddamn sure. I mean, McLaren's race pace was definitely there. I mean, once they got, once Lando got behind Antonelli, that was about it. And the car, on clean air ran away a bit from it. But McLaren's definitely has a quick car. Since they did that, got their new wind tunnel a few years ago, and they have been hitting on every upgrade that they bring.
Yeah, well, they showed it again, and they've been showing it for the last couple of years. Final thoughts on the race before we head into the Quizmaster's cockpit.
I mean, we'll see how things go, but it definitely looks like Vegas knows, man, and Vegas is the Mercs at the top 2 to win that thing. So win the driver's title and take the constructors. So
yeah, still everyone's on the plus line still.
Sometimes you still have to listen to Vegas.
Everyone's still on the plus line at the moment. So as far as end of the season winners, we'll check out the up-to-date statistics as they come out next week. As we'll have back-to-back no race weekends, so that'll make what, one race in over 2 months in the end. This Miami race is the only race over the course of 2 months until we go May 24th, which we'll try. We apologize for anyone who was trying to get on. We apologize. We had a scheduling conflict with our sideline production there, as I was planning on being on 4. They moved the race to 1. Race was just supposed to be getting underway now, and it is long over because of the wonderful South Florida rains. We apologize, everyone, for that, but we will be on, or we will strive our best to be on the 24th, Sunday the 24th, to be live at the Montreal race and broadcasting there. So that should be fun. Damn weather, damn Florida. That's just a thing in the U.S., though. Like, Florida just sucks, but we know that.
Great time in Florida. It rains like every day, dude.
We talk about this every single season the last 5 years.
They've talked about this before to move it to a night race. It doesn't rain really in Florida at night. It rains during the day. So do the race
It doesn't
at night.
rain, though. It'll monsoon for like 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And then the sun comes out. So what's even worse, if you ever driven in Florida before, which I have, which I don't know if you have, it rains, and then it's like 97 degrees and sunny. So it's like this fog that comes across. And then you got the average age of like 96 and a half, driving knuckles and white hair down Jog Road and Military Boulevard down there in South Florida. You know what I'm talking about. For those of you folks who know exactly what I'm talking about, with your sun pass going down the Florida Turnpike there, that's the problem. The problem is like the quick rain, the intense downpours, the intense heat, fog all over the roads. It's a shit show. And
do it at night.
Either do it at night or schedule for the fall. Do it with Coda. Or do a triple header U.S. Do 3 races in 4 weeks in the U.S. It makes total sense.
That's fair.
Miami,
Absolutely.
Texas, Vegas.
They want to do this. They want to do this. Logistics thing and save on travel costs and whatnot. I mean, that's bingo, bango, bongo.
I mean, you look at it, it's easy. You have 6 races in North America. You do the North American leg with Canada, the 3 U.S. races, Mexico and Brazil. Boom, boom, boom. At the end of the season, you avoid all this rain crap. You're not going back and forth. We're going from here. I mean, at least they're staying in the Northeast here, or the East Coast with the same time zone, which is insane. For the first time ever, we have 2 races in a row in the same time zone, in the Eastern time zone here in the U.S., with Montreal next in 3 weeks from now. But it makes perfect sense to do Miami, Montreal, Vegas, Texas, Mexico City, and Brazil, instead of going back to Monaco and then coming back here later in the year. But that's a whole other story for a whole other day. Right now, it is time to strap on my helmet, and we're going to take a lap around the track. 3 sectors, 3 questions, or who the hell knows what you got going on over there. It is Quizmaster's Cockpit. If I can answer these 3 questions right, sir, we'll go right into winners of the week. If I answer only 1 question wrong, even potentially one part of 1 question wrong, we go into our losers of the week. And of course, as always, if I completely fail, fall on my face miserably, looking like I just got my ass beat, we go right into slap, which was a tough... We had some pre-show argument over what the slap was going to be this week. Usually we come with a slap pretty easily, but let's get into it, sir. Ball's in your court.
I actually think you're going to hit all 3 this week because these are cupcakes.
It's also Miami. It's not like some rich history here of Florida F1 racing.
So yeah, these are kind of cupcakes, but I think you get all 3, to be honest.
Shoot, go.
So here we go. Question number 1, sir. had this a couple shows ago. So do it again. See if you get it right this time again. Where else in Florida has F1 held a Grand Prix?
I didn't think you would ask this again. You only asked it like a month or so ago. It is Sebring. A question I got wrong years ago in the past. I believe, yeah. When you ask me like every city ever in the U.S., like the 11-part question, which
Yes.
from 2022, which I'm still pissed about. But go ahead. Sebring is correct.
That is correct, sir. Question number 1 is correct. Question number 2. When was the first Miami Grand Prix?
I believe it was 22. This is the
That
fifth.
is correct, sir.
Yes,
That is
okay.
correct.
So I was going to do the math.
That's correct.
I know this is the fifth. 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's
fifth.
correct, sir.
It's Dave Chappelle.
All right. So
Once
as
said.
hit that suspense music there, sir. You're 2 for
Oh,
2. Can you get can you
Didn't
go
even-
3 for 3, which I think is pretty simple because you got this question right last year. Actually, this is a
That means I'll
bringback
get it wrong
question.
this year. I'll probably get it wrong this year.
Pretty easy question.
I
Pretty damn
always should
simple
listen
question.
to the previous year's shows. That's the problem.
Name the 4 drivers to have won the Miami Grand Prix.
Well, we got Max, who I believe won the first 2.
Mm-hmm.
Lando won his first ever race here.
Mm-hmm.
Kimi.
Mm-hmm. That's 3.
Is it-
One
Is
more.
it Oscar? Is it Oscar?
That is correct, sir.
Yes! Yes!
What a little
Victory.
cupcake this week for you.
Little bit of a
You know,
cupcake.
after the special episode of the Quizmaster's Cockpit episode, which you absolutely bombed.
Yeah, it's a little embarrassing. Thank you all for listening. We got a
Bombed that one.
ton of downloads on that embarrassment. Of course, like one of our most downloaded episodes ever is me slapping myself in the face for 20 minutes. But you know,
So what a little cupcake is. But you got them all. That is hot laugh.
a slight redemption.
So we'll take it in the winners. I'm going to give it to the FIA. You know, we
Right.
usually trash them. I'm going to give it to the FIA for making the right decision and moving the race up. Didn't even get just a race that they got the whole race in. They got a full dry race by bringing it up when the weather report said it's going to probably be an absolute monsoon down there at about 4:30, 5 o'clock in thunderstorms. So they wouldn't be able to get the Grand Prix in. So they made the right call for a change.
Bold move. Bold.
Moved the race up 3 hours and freaking paid off big time. So got to give it up to him for that. After that, a couple years ago when they screwed the pooch not doing that in Spa, which they absolutely should have. As we can all recall that one, but we'll give it to him there. And we're going to give it to Franco Colapinto. Tied his second best finish in Formula One with
How
an
about
8th
that?
place in the Alpine. The well-improved Alpine with the Mercedes power plant. The car looks gazillion times better, getting both cars in the Q3 this weekend as well than Alpine. So give it up. And Franco finishing up there in the top 8th place. How about it? Those will be my winners.
Listen, I as cliche as it is, I don't think we talked about it enough. McLaren's double podium, I think completely changed this entire season. And if McLaren can come back, which they've raced very well in Montreal before, if they can come back in Montreal and potentially take a 1-2 in Montreal, it could completely change the game. The great showing in the sprint race, it's completely turned this season. I know there's been some tinfoil hats saying that, George Russell held back on purpose and yada yada,
That tinfoil hat shit.
try to make this season a little more interesting. But, Kimi's looking great, obviously, but everything McLaren's
No, give
done,
it up.
and not just the
Give it up.
drivers, top to bottom.
No,
top to bottom.
No, yeah. The upgrades
and
were absolute hit, man.
and
They hit it.
saving the season, and a team that does not get on the winners, a team, but and you left it right out there for me. But Williams
Uh-huh.
finishing 9th, 10th.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
I mean,
Uh-huh.
where have you been?
Double
A team that
points,
finished
yeah.
fifth last season, did start strong last season and completely faded away, and then was just terrible at the start of this season. Specifically, and they didn't have a great start to the weekend either. Carlos Sainz had definitely had some issues with the car early on. So for them to come back and finish in the double points is, even though it's the minimum number of points you could possibly have, you got to give it up to Williams. You got to give it up to James Vowles and everyone downstream, because I guarantee you, by the time we hit Montreal, if not, by the time we hit Monaco, they'll be right back on the shit list again. So enjoy it while you can, folks at Williams, on that win list. And those are
It
our
seems to
winners.
be one step forward, two steps back, to be honest with
Always.
Williams. So,
Always. So
so
enjoy
we'll go to
that.
the losers. We'll go, Isaac Ajar. I mean, part of it wasn't his fault with the, being disqualified from quali for, being over the limit. I forget what it was, but that wasn't his fault. That was the team's fault. But, made the mistake there into the chicane uphill there, clipped the wall and killed the steering and smacked the wall. But just an overall, he had a rough weekend. I mean, well behind Max with the upgrades, so he was struggling a bit more than Max was. Uh, uh I'll give it to Audi.
Yeah.
All around rough weekend. I mean, the power plant issues, you know, Hulkenberg's blowing the engine there, and was it sprint quali and what's it? Was it Bortoletto's car catching fire in quali for the race? I mean, Hulkenberg not finishing the race again today. I mean, they're definitely having some power plant issues, and they tried to fix them apparently over the break, and apparently these fixes did not work because they were still having a lot of issues. Definitely Audi, and Hulkenberg just had a rough weekend in general with them as well. So those will be my losers. I mean, there's plenty out there to pick
Yeah.
from, to be honest.
Hulkenberg had a rough weekend. You actually stole my two that I had here between Nico.
I mean, you could go,
and I
Lawson.
really, yeah, I wanted to go with you, honestly, as far as Hajar goes, and just, can you double down on the curse of the second Red Bull, like, over and over and over again? Again? Like, a guy like Hajar? How excited are we in December, if you want to go back to one of our shows in December, which, ironically, this week had, like, more downloads than last week's episode for our part. Everyone going back to how excited everyone was about Isaac Hajar taking that second Red Bull seat, and what has he done? A combination of bad luck as well. Probably more bad luck than bad driving, but shit, that Mojo curse, man, that's bad.
It's the
It's
curse.
absolutely bad.
Ever since Danny Ricciardo got out of that seat, it is like the kiss of death to take that. I mean, Lawson got better when he left and went back to, Racing Bulls after that. I mean, it's a rough decision to take that seat. I mean, if you want to talk, I took Slow Your Thunder. I mean, you could go Lawson for locking up and flipping Gasly over. I mean, the Racing Bulls in general had a rough weekend too. Overall, throw them
Yeah.
out there for sure. I mean, Gasly had a rough. Gasly probably had a top 10 car this weekend, and by him, having a rough start and then getting flipped over and out of the race. I mean, it's a tough break for Alpine there too. They could have had another. They could have been the double points finish and not Williams, to be honest, because they had a quicker car. So, I mean, tough break for Gasly. I mean, your boys Haas struggled big time too, really.
They definitely struggled, but I don't know if it was Ali and Esteban. Esteban definitely had a rough weekend all around. They had a tough show of a weekend. Especially with the extra points out there for the sprint race. You want to go home with something, especially if you want to try to get 4th, 5th. So that was really a bad shuffle for Haas. But yeah, and persona non grata, teams non grata. I mean, Cadillac's is just as good as Aston Martin now, if not better. I think now that we've solidified a little bit of the season, the fact that Cadillac's just on the same pace.
They brought
in
some
the same
upgrades.
level.
Car looked improved. I mean, a bit, but
As
it's
Aston,
a brand new team. They're still And Aston Martin is still kind of a train wreck. I mean, they didn't.
Well, that was my point. My point that Aston Martin's a train wreck, as I believe Cadillac is about to, if not has already, passed on the track. I think this weekend has shown that they're a better team than Aston Martin, and they're going to have a better overall 2026 season, which is pretty sad for Aston Martin, who has spent a lot of money over the last 18 months here. A lot of money over the last 18 months to try to improve this team. And the new kids on the block are already looks like they're going to score points before Aston Martin does. That's for damn sure.
I mean, at least for Aston, apparently they might have got rid of the crazy vibration out of the car finally. So,
congratulations, you don't completely suck.
The car is still absolute trash, though. So, I mean, that'll bring us to the last bit of this segment.
I need to slap my goddamn fist for that.
It's the slap of the week. This was a tough one. We had a lot of argument pre-show about this because I think everyone pretty much did a good enough job to avoid a slap. But let me tell you, I know the start time was moved up, and I know the celebrities were in the paddock. But Jimmy Fallon, how much cocaine are you going to do before noon? I mean, the guy was out of control. When you make Martin Brundle take a step back, and it's hard to shake Martin Brundle, because that guy's a lunatic in his own. But when you start literally eating his microphone, he was out of control. I don't think he was being funny. I think he was just coked out of his mind. Let me shake your dealer's hand, because you're getting the good shit down in Miami. Where was Tony Montana hanging out at? Say hello to my little friend. Listen, you got to do what you got to do, right? I'm not getting on you about that. But you got to control yourself a little bit down in that paddock, Jimmy. Like, save it for after. It's
caffeinated. We are medicated. Let's effing go.
It wasn't even tea time yet.
Let it go. Let loose. Have a good time. You're on the grid in an F1 race. Light it up, man. Light it up. Get down. Get the boogie down.
Speaking of which.
Yes! You know what that sound means? It's kind of the best damn sound of the week. So take that fantasy ride to the fantasy island of Greentopia, where the beer flows like wine, the wine flows like beer, and that cannabis, oh yes, boys and girls, that cannabis grows as far as the eyes can see. Look at it out there, green and luscious. Take a little whiff. Woo! That air smells fantastic. Take a little walk to the top of the hill, casino at the top. Tickets in hand. Are we cashing in or are we checking out? Was kind of a rough weekend again.
You lost, but you didn't lose as much. You hedged your bets a little bit because you did have Kimi Antonelli winning, but you threw it all down on winners because they were all on the plus line, so you can only win so much here, Cheese. Of course, the favorite won, but still, Kimi Antonelli, even though he was the favorite, was still on the plus line, which we don't get that treat very often as far as all drivers being on the plus line. So you went for it, but you did end up losing 130 Greeny bucks. You had Max and Leclerc in there in the trifecta, as I did as well, so we took a big hit on that. I had 100 Greeny bucks on Max Verstappen winning it. That was smart. Last time I bet on Red Bull this season, although I said that, I think, in Japan, and that worked out really well for me. And the trifecta. Oh, I had the Haas double top 10 finish, plus 1,000. That was juicy. I mean, 11th and 13th wasn't that bad, but, if Williams crapped the bed a little more, there was a possibility there, and, Franco Colapinto and ifs and buts for candy and nuts. It'd be a Merry Christmas for us all. and that it was not. So I took a 300 Greeny Buck hit. Jeez, I am under the 4,000 Greeny Buck mark already at 3,855. You're not doing super hot yourself, but you're well ahead of me at 4,790 Greeny Bucks. Oh my gosh, are you over 900 Greeny Buck lead already? You have opened the floodgates. And after my victory last year, it looks like a big early lead for you. It's going to be a lot of work to come back. It's still very early, but it's going to be a lot of work. I don't know if I'm going to have any money left at the end of this season. I might be out in the street with a sign by the end of July here. So hopefully I can make it to the fall season with any Greeny Bucks left. So that is our Greeny Bucks update.
Maybe
of course.
You can. You might have to hit a Greentopia National Bank for a loan, maybe, or something.
I'm going to have to go out there with a shotgun. Speaking of which, now it is time for the most informative part and the up-to-date news segment of the week. And it is, of course, In the News!
Only really got two for you. We covered most of it pretty much during the program here, but since the Dutch Grand Prix is leaving after this season, we needed somewhere to go to replace it. And Formula One has chose Turkey. So we are going back to the Istanbul circuit starting next year in 2027. So that triple left-hand corner is back on the calendar. I'm going to smile a bit because I'm happy about it. Because I've missed that is a great track, to be dead honest. That is a good track for Formula One race cars.
Goodbye, Zandvoort, once again.
Goodbye, Zandvoort, once again. And then we're going to end the program on some sad news, actually. After the passing of Alex Zanardi at the age of 59. Of course, to older F1 fans will remember, Alex Zanardi was in Formula One, raced for Jordan, Lotus, and I think Minardi as well. But definitely Jordan and Lotus. He's also a two-time IndyCar champion here in the States with Chip Ganassi Racing. And then after a life-changing car accident, he became a four-time Paralympic gold medalist in cycling. And also in the World Championships, he pretty much dominated that crap too, winning a bunch of 19 other events as well.
He dominated that until he was 52 years old. He dominated Paralympic cycling until he was 52. He won his last. He passed away, unfortunately, yesterday or the day before at the age of 59. 2019 is the last time he did win the Paralympic cycling gold, which is unbelievable. 2001 was the year of the accident. Of course, life-changing accident for Alex Zanardi, if those who remember, but absolutely made the best of one of the worst situations.
Inspirational
and absolute inspiration for so many that may have given up after a tragedy like that, justifiably so, but ended up living a fantastic life for the last 25 years. And listen, shouts out and the best to him, comfort, blessings, and all that, and thoughts and prayers to him and his family. But yeah, it really shows how you can make the most out of some of the worst possible situations. So rest in peace, Alex Zanardi. All right, sir. Which leads us, of course, to where are we going next?
We got a little, I guess, mini-ish break again, kind of, since we're, not racing for 3 weeks till we get up to Canada there at the end of May. So we'll see you guys in 3 weeks, but we'll definitely have some in the news specials and things coming up here in the coming weeks as well that keep us all entertained.
Yes, we will not miss a weekend.
Please, definitely, thanks again for tuning in, listening, helping us out here at the show, and we keep growing. It's all thanks to you guys, so appreciate it.
Absolutely, and again, we will not miss a weekend. We will not miss an episode, definitely in the weeks coming up here, as we head towards Monaco in only a month's time. So we got a packed month heading into both Canada and Monaco. So stick with us. Say what you got to say, brother.
As always, we'll see you guys next week for In the News special. And as always, stay medicated, my friends.
Peace.
With Greeny and the cheese. Coming live from the US of A. Podcast groove. The boys bring you the F1 news. Everything you need, so you know just what to do. And it's all alright, 'cause they do it right. In the paddock with Greeny and the cheese. In the paddock with Greeny and the cheese. In the paddock with Greeny and the cheese. Ferrari's gonna drive you crazy. Mad Max, he's so amazing. Yeah. McLaren, Merc, and more. In the paddock with Greeny and the cheese. And they know their way around the track. When you need the facts, you can trust them. They won't steer you wrong. Always right on time. They know their way around a microphone. And it's all right, 'cause they do it right. In the paddock with Greeny and the cheese.